As the Bitcoin ETF nears, the spotlight seems to be much more focused on stablecoins. Why? Welcome back, everyone. The Tether Truthers. The Tether Truthers. So the reason why I start off by saying that is because, number one, pretty much almost every single shitcoiner tries to use Tether as a attack vector against Bitcoin, not realizing that Bitcoin exists without Tether and is a completely separate network and has nothing to do with Tether. But anyways, it's not what this clip is about. The reason why I brought that up is because this is an article written by Vinicius Barbosa, who is a nano shill, but nonetheless, I think that this article is actually very important. And I think if we pay attention to what is being said, it actually, we're getting much more hints about what's to come. Anyways, all right, enough with the vagueness. Let's dive into it. BlackRock discloses exposure to stablecoin risks on spot Bitcoin ETF. The public document sent to the regulators discloses different risks related to the ETF. Among the risk factors, BlackRock mentions an indirect exposure to stablecoins such as Tether USD and Circle USD. Now, for the people who have watched this channel before, you know what my assertion is at this point. And if you don't, I'll repeat it. I truly believe that in the last cycle, all of this FTX stuff, this was all just a whole bunch of, how could I say this, strategically planned, so to speak, perception games, right? Like this, look, this market's huge. There's tons of money to be made, but the legacy system isn't there. So you're not safe. Okay, we aren't safe because the benevolent legacy banking system in all of its glory and regulations is not there to ensure our safety. And so as a result, they're going to come in and they're going to clean up the space and make sure that everything's, everything's actually running as it should and everything is transparent, private, and honest. I know that made no sense, right? Anyways, okay, so right, like that's the assertion, that the legacy system is going to come in and save the day. So I think it's very interesting that a lot of the focus is going on the stable coins. While the trust does not invest in stable coins, it may nonetheless be exposed to risks that stable coins pose for the Bitcoin market and other digital assets. They're telling us exactly what they're going to do. Okay, they're telling us exactly what they're going to do. So here we go. Right, here's the breadcrumbs. Hey, you got to be careful. This Tether thing is huge. Now, granted, they've done well up until now. These stable coins, they haven't totally imploded, but we're here to make sure that they don't, and we're going to prevent that. And we see some major risks to our Bitcoin product if this stablecoin thing doesn't get fixed. Following this introductory disclosure, the company explains what a stablecoin is and that its market value may fluctuate. This observed volatility exists despite the protocol's mechanism to keep the token's price stable against its pegged asset or currency. Look, stablecoins are very dangerous. Okay, and only the benevolent dictators of the banking system can make sure that we don't have any kind of this strange fluctuations in value. In addition, some have argued that some stablecoins, particularly Tether, are improperly issued without sufficient backing in a way that when the stablecoin is used to pay for Bitcoin could cause artificial rather than genuine demand for Bitcoin, artificially inflating the price of Bitcoin. So this is hilarious because the stock market is completely rigged. Okay, just go look up the term market makers. Okay, like that. This is such absolute bullshit and projection. But remember, the goal here is to make you worry and also to make you realize just how much we need. We need players like BlackRock, right? In order to keep the space safe. BlackRock explains that stablecoins play a foundational role in cryptocurrency's health. They're fundamental. So guys, Bitcoin is just a weak thing all on its own without that stablecoin. These guys are nuts. Anyways, okay, here we go. Their fundamental liquidity can have a dramatic impact on the broader digital asset market, including the market for Bitcoin, because a large portion of the digital asset market still depends on stable coins such as Tether and USDC. There is a risk that a disorderly depegging or a run on Tether or USDC could lead to dramatic market volatility in digital assets more broadly. So what BlackRock is saying, not saying, hey, we need control of this Tether product. Okay, that to me is exactly what they're saying, and it's very interesting, right? Because I did a few previous clips on how Tether is becoming too big to fail. Tether has over $72 billion in U.S. Treasuries that it's accumulated very recently. So yeah, if we think there isn't some crazy 4D chess going on here right now over the not Bitcoin, but essentially over the crypto space, you're very much mistaken. It is, okay? And this is exactly what plebs, Bitcoin plebs, I'm not going to take full credit for this because a lot of us Bitcoin plebs have been saying this. The legacy system has decided it is now staking its claim in this space, and it is making sure that everyone knows that it is here to be the leader and in the dominant position. The iShare Bitcoin ETF document also mentions historical events that bring doubt to Tether's USD reserves and liquidity for USDT users. On February 17th, 2021, the New York Attorney General entered into an agreement with Tether's operators, requiring them to cease any further trading activity with New York persons and pay $18.5 million in penalties for false and misleading statements made regarding the assets backing Tether. On October 15th, 2021, the CFTC announced a settlement with Tether's operators in which they agreed to pay $42.5 million in fines to settle charges that, among others, Tether's claims that it maintained sufficient US dollar reserves to back every Tether stablecoin in circulation with the equivalent amount of corresponding fiat currency held by Tether were untrue. The company cites a relevant DPEG event involving Circle's token and the United States financial and banking system. So the reason why this is being explained, okay, is in order to help propel and create the feelings of insecurity. And of course, we're in this space, right? So we don't trust, we do verify. That is the whole point of this. So it's not, right? Like the fact that BlackRock is exposing this or reintroducing this information is no surprise, but I think that we should remember what the framing is, okay? So they're letting you know that Tether on its own can't be trusted. And BlackRock, they want to make this ETF, but they've got a problem with Tether. Got to fix that problem before they can make the Bitcoin ETF. While USDC is designed to maintain a stable value at $1 at all times, on March 10th, 2023, the value of USDC fell below $1 for multiple days after Circle Internet Financial disclosed that US $3.3 billion of the USDC reserves were held at Silicon Valley Bank, which had entered Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation receivership earlier that day. Stablecoins are reliant on the U.S. banking system and U.S. treasuries, and the failure of either to function normally could impede the function of stablecoins and therefore could adversely affect the value of the shares. And when they're talking about the shares, they're talking about the shares of the future Bitcoin ETF. So here we go. They're introducing, right? There's an introduction of doubt. Okay, there's an introduction of doubt, and BlackRock is worried about these stable coins. Now, of course, we all know exactly what could alleviate these worries, right? Be a stable coin that maybe the government creates, the US dollar, something like that, you know? Maybe something that all the financial institutions can all agree on. Oh, God, we are living in such a clown world, and it is just so depressing. It is so depressing. Anyways, let's continue, wrap it up, and then we'll do some comments. Among the points of concern related to stablecoins are volatility. operational issues, unbacked reserves, potential manipulative activity, and regulatory concerns. Okay, so not that I have to go through the whole list, but as we all know, in 1971, the dollar was depegged from gold. So that it wasn't some private company, right? It wasn't, right? Like there wasn't some, like, how do I explain this? It wasn't some shady entity or something like that. No, it was the U.S. government. U.S. government that realized, hey, we're being held back. We could be printing so much money out of thin air if we just got rid of this pesky peg. So look, here we are, right? Fast forward 2023. All of these financial institutions, the legacy finance has no choice, absolutely no choice but to embrace this new space that is vibrant, coming to life, and frankly, doesn't really need their rails in order to function. So BlackRock, being the behemoth that it is, understands that it needs to stake its claim. Okay, so I believe that they are playing some fancy 4D chess, right? Where essentially they, I think, are either going to help choose the stable coin, okay, or they are simply going to provide it themselves, whatever it is, or they're going to provide the quote unquote framework for it. Either way, this all goes back to this all goes back to, you know, what the plebs have been saying, what I've been saying. The reality is that the legacy system is here to stake its claim. And the truth of the matter is that even though Tether is big, and even though Tether has a lot of backing, nothing that we have in this space is any match for the amount of power, influence, and money that the legacy financial system has. Do I think that Tether implodes or disappears? No, not necessarily. And I'll tell you why. Because the $72 billion of US Treasuries, okay? They're paying to play. To me, that was a signal. That was a signal to say, hey, guys, we're on your team. Okay, and that's not, I'm not saying this like, oh, this is a good thing, go Tether. No, I'm saying like Tether did what it had to do to stay alive. And what they did was signal, right? They signaled and said, hey, we're ready to play. We're going to follow the rules. Anyways, guys, it's definitely getting more interesting. Now we're entering the next phase before the Bitcoin ETF. What is going to happen with Tether? Is BlackRock going to be able to somehow influence the workings of Tether? We're going to see. Guys, let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help us grow the channel. I'm going to catch you all tomorrow.